So I'm on the pasture on the east side of it. You can see where the houses are and the path that we come down to go for our walks that Gabe cut out for us. This entire tree line that separates this part of the property from that part of the property used to be completely cleared. So that's what Gabe has been working on most recently, is cutting down a lot of these trees. And hopefully there'll be a pretty significant before and after soon enough. But I'll show you from the other side. So now I'm in the bottom of the gully / pasture. That's the path I just walked down, and I was standing at the top of there in the last clip. And then the path also continues down that way for quite a while. And this is the path back up to the houses, and this is the tree line they're working on. So now I'm standing in the corral. Here's the tree line that they're clearing. I'm sorry I don't have any before footage, but this big gap right here is significant. That was all completely full of half of this dead tree right here. He still needs to take the other half down. The reason that this is the corral is because there's the barn, and they used to board horses here, so this area was the horse corral. And it's been overgrown, and this is one of the main areas that has been a big clearing project since we got here. Now we can get from the corral into this field, which is one of the fields on the property that is being leased to a neighbor farmer, because no one in this family has ever actually farmed. So all of the land has been, well, not all of the land, but supposedly 40 acres is leased out to our neighbor down there. And lucky for us, he's doing alfalfa in a big section right now, which stays low, so we're able to go for walks in these fields. But I'll be sad if he switches to corn before we get in a position to be able to take back over this part of the land. Because once corn gets planted, we won't have this big area available to walk in. And you can't, this is the top of a hill, but it goes down, and then it goes in a big U all around the other side of the pasture. So I'm standing in the field, and this is the perspective of the residential property from the field. So the corral, which is essentially a backyard for the 2 guest houses now. The tree line, the big house, the barn. There's this old grain silo that's falling down. But all of this is going to have to get cleared out too, because this tree line also used to be completely clear. All of these trees are volunteer. So we have a few old aerial photographs of the property that I wanted to show you so you could get an idea of what I was showing you when I was walking around before, and to show you how pristine it used to be, and so you can kind of get a sense of the state of disrepair that it's in now. Or at least I'm gonna try and do all of that, but Douglas is feeling frisky. So this is north, south. These roads used to be gravel, and they're both paved now. And this road that's paved now is the last paved road going this way away from town. Town is this way. So this is the big house, and you can kind of see this fence right here is the fence. This is the tree line that they're clearing right now. So So this is the fence that separated the horse corral, which is this area that you can't really see. But this is the horse corral, and this fence that you can see right here is the tree line that they're working on clearing. And it goes into the, what we're calling the pasture, which is this whole area. So even that used to be a lot less overgrown. And then this field over here is also ours. Just for some perspective, this main residential area, which is just this lot, and the horse corral, I believe is either 4 or 6 acres. This is 8 acres. And the property that's owned by the family is 94 or 95 acres. So this is kind of just a drop in the bucket of all of the land that we have. Well, I don't mean we, I just live here, but Gabe's family. So our plan, oh, let me finish telling you what everything is. So here's the big house. Can't really see the guest houses, but they're down here. You can see the roof line here. Here's the barn that's not there anymore. But look how nice it used to be. But it's all gone now. This is the shed that we tore down. This was the first structure that we took down, and that's, if you've been following me on Instagram, I was documenting that process and how we turned that into a little patio, and that's where we like do our grilling and stuff now. This is the garage, which is still there. I also documented the process of us clearing out the back half that was pretty much floor to ceiling filled with junk. And then this half is where the chicken quarters are now. And this is where the winter coop for the chickens is. It's also where we kept the turkeys. This is that old falling down grain silo that I showed. This is the field that I was standing in. In this picture, it's corn. So yeah, hopefully y'all can kind of get an idea of just the state of disrepair everything is in and why we don't have off the farm jobs. I mean, just look at how much more nice and open and pretty everything was. Like this whole area, you saw when I was walking in it, you could barely even get through it. And that's even only just because it's winter right now. Can't walk through any of this area when everything's foliated. This whole tree line used to be completely clear. Now this is completely dense with volunteer trees. We'll probably never get it back to this state. Same with this tree line. All the tree lines, honestly. Let me do a little comparison for you. Sad barn. No more shed. There's the garage. Where that Airstream is parked, which needs to go, is where this horse trailer used to be. So even all of the part of this that's asphalted is a freaking mess. It's just a mess.
So I've been coming out here once or twice a year my whole childhood. And so this place was always, really special and meaningful. And I have a lot of nostalgia wrapped up in this place. As I got older, definitely once I got into college and I wasn't able to come around here as often, it was around the same time that things really started to deteriorate very quickly out here. My grandparents, all my family really, everybody was getting older things were falling down, the house was getting filled up with junk, and I was missing the place because I wasn't able to come out here as much. And when I could get out here, it was just hard to look at, hard to watch this place that I loved so much be falling apart. And I always knew that there was plenty that I could do to help if I were here, but I wasn't here. I was in Texas, living my life. So that was just a kind of general frustration and heartbreak that I had to live with for many, many years. At the same time, my interests in what we were eating and agriculture and gardening and all of that were growing, and we really wanted to have a farm, and like what kind of farm has really changed a lot over the years. Simultaneous to watching this place crumble, we always wanted to get land somewhere in Texas, because that's where we were, and do that thing. Like really the thought of coming out here and using this land, it was never even like a possibility really. And even when the idea would come up, we would always shrug it off like, no, that's crazy. Like, why the hell would we want to live in Iowa? Like, why would we want to uproot our lives and move up to the middle of nowhere? But just over time, it began to make more and more sense. Just what we could have bought in Texas, it was the property values are just so astronomical, and I wasn't really willing to mortgage myself, my life, to buy, I think even like 10 or 15 acres would have been asking too much down there, unless it was in a floodplain, which is what a lot of the land that we were seeing was like, oh, here's 20 acres. By the way, it's in a floodplain and you're not allowed to build anything out here. So like that was a situation that we were looking at.
And it was even more overgrown than what we're dealing with here.
Yeah. That reality really began to sink in. This place was falling down even more and more. My dad moved back up here in COVID, so we actually had even more of a reason to come up here more often and whatever. So that the connection that way got stronger. And it's like, it's almost 100 acres, man. Like, it's just crazy to have something like this, an asset like this in the family, and not use it. And especially in the past couple of years with the way that our diet has changed and our ideas about food and agriculture have changed. Raising big animals, larger, sheep, goats, cattle, that kind of thing, have been added into our plans in a way that they hadn't been before. Before, we just thought we were going to grow trees and grow vegetables, and we thought that would be maybe chickens, probably chickens, but no big animals, so therefore we didn't need. Anyway, now that we want to grow animals, we need space. We need space for them. So everything just kind of clicked like that, And so I think it started making too much sense for us. We had to do it. We had to do it before this place went away. Which I think we were kind of also on that trajectory too. So here we are. The last thing I want to say is, we're definitely experiencing a kind of like movement, air quotes movement, I don't know what you want to call it, of people in our generation, desiring to go back to the land and wanting to pursue a life like this. But I think it's a mistake that it's kind of a cognitive trap that we let ourselves fall into. And I think a lot of people sort of make this mistake that they feel like they have to buy the land, like they feel like they have to own their land and just bootstrap everything and do it themselves. Otherwise, it's like not authentic or
cheating.
Cheating is a good word. The problem with that ideal or idea is like, it's like, okay, I have to buy my land, so that means I have to work for the next 20 years and save up, and then I can do the thing. We all of us, and some of us are way more privileged and lucky than others. Like, damn, like I'm very lucky that we have something like this in the family, even though it is so dilapidated and needs so much like care and fixing up and whatever. I'm very lucky, but the point I would make to anybody is like, we all have family somewhere, we all have friends somewhere or connections, and through those connections there's always opportunity. And like our story, the story of this place is not special at all. Like there is a lot of
This whole state,
sure, but like this whole country,
yeah,
there is a lot of like, there's a lot of backyards, and there's a lot of empty lots, and there's a lot of farms, and there's a lot of places already that like our elders aren't able to take care of. You know, there's a lot more opportunity than I think we realize, and you don't have to have a mortgage to access those opportunities. You know, you just have to have connections that you develop and believe in is what I'm finding out.
and realize that it's not going to be as aesthetic as you might have been imagining.
Or it's perfect. I mean, damn, like it's hard, like living here with family and dealing with all of that ancient history that has happened in my family and whatever, but like that's definitely a downside, but it's also good because like we're not running away from it.
I think it's a reckoning that we all collectively need to face.
It's a reckoning. I also see it as like very redemptive in a lot of ways. We like to sort of idealize like rugged individualism and like striking out on your own and doing your own thing, and like to hell with my folks who let me down and this way and that way and traumatized me. Sometimes you have to do that, but more than that, what we need to be doing is like strengthening family ties and rebuilding our villages, rebuilding our communities. So that's what I hope. That's what, not just the farm, that's the sort of thing that I hope we can do here is start our own little village.